Good day, traders. Hope you guys are good and welcome to this week's segment of our market breakdowns. It's a beautiful Monday. Hope you guys had a well-rested weekend and hope you guys prepared for this week and are ready to make money with me. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it. We're going to start by looking at the dollar index. We're going to start by looking at it on the monthly, and then I'm going to do a top-down analysis. So let's identify our areas of supply and demand. So this is our area of demand, right? This is our area of supply. If you don't know how to identify your areas of supply, demand, the videos or the links to the videos will be available in the description box below. So if you look at the supply area, it's been tested twice. First test, second test. And if you look at it on this point over here, there's efficiency. Lessons on that will be in the description box below. Don't worry if you don't know anything about those things. Efficiency, right? So the reason why I talk about this is because also, okay, wait, there is also inefficiency here. So reason why I talk about efficiency is because price is going to that point eventually. And depending on how strong price is when it goes to that area, it is possible that this area or this level will not hold. So eventually we might get a breakout to the upside. But then this is just like future things. I think we need to revisit this after a few months because we're on the monthly. But yeah, this might just be another deep correction. So let's work with what we have right now. What we have right now is a demand level that's in control. So bulls are in control. Number two, we're in a long-term uptrend. Why? Because we haven't broken structures. So if you zoom out, you'll see we had this accumulation over here, and this could be another reaccumulation. Sorry about that. This could be another reaccumulation, right? Another thing that could happen is the market could go down again to take out some liquidity before moving up. But then we know that in the long run, this thing is going up, right? So yeah, my sentiments on the dollar index over a prolonged period is bulls. So yeah, let's go to a lower time frame. So on the weekly, this is what happened. In the previous weeks, because we've been monitoring this pair for a very long time, in the previous weeks, I was expecting the market to come back and fill in this inefficiency over here. And this is what we got over the last 2 weeks, past last 2 weeks. And so for me, it's interesting to see if this area will hold or not. From what we learned in the previous lessons is that this area is very balanced. So if we have a strong push to the upside, it will eventually break it. And if the market has to reverse from this area, then it's not a very good supply area. Because why? There aren't a lot of orders that are unfilled on this area, right? So what should we expect? Okay, so we have a shift of sentiment over here. Shift of sentiment, have a break of structure. Market created several demand areas, and then now we're looking at the most recent one. So the market formed an imbalance over here. And so this is a potential demand area, right? It hasn't been confirmed. Why? Because it hasn't broken any opposing structure. So it not being confirmed means that there's a possibility that the market will break through it eventually. So with this, it's possible that the market will come back because there are other factors that we look for other than it being or it breaking opposing structure. So because the market might use this as a continuation level, there's a possibility that the market will overlook the fact that it hasn't broken previous structures, and then it will come back into it before going to the upside. But the area that's being confirmed is this one over here. So if you look at this area over here, let me use a different shade for this one over here. Green. All right, green. So if we're looking for areas that have broken previous structure, then a good area will be this one over here. Right. So, and it's only been tested like once. So the market might come back to that area for demand before going up to the upside. So this is confirmed. Right. Now we had an imbalance over here that we recently filled. And this again, like I said, is the source of our imbalance. So from here, the only supply area that I see is this area over here. Meaning this week, we might potentially get a drop to the downside. It's not a very good supply area, which is why I wouldn't suggest that you trade from it, number one. Number two, it's counter trend. So we know with counter trend levels, they're low probability because the market might break through them. So the only areas that for me, you need to consider or you need to be looking out for, unless the market forms another area of supply, of demand, are these two over here. Now let's move on to the lower time frame. So yeah, now we're on the daily, and I think you can see this efficiency in a clearer perspective. You also have the supply area that I was talking about that's nested within that higher time frame, that weekly supply area that I was talking about. And you can look right now that the market isn't really respecting it. So one thing I always say is that if you see that the market is playing around the level for too long, chances are it's going to break it. And so this is what we're seeing over here. Of course, we're waiting for confirmation in the form of an actual breakout, but we'll be monitoring it during the week because it might form another pattern. But definitely, if we for any other reason we get pushed to the downside, these are the levels that we'll be looking at. This nested demand over here, right? This nested demand over here. But if price continues to push up, which is what I'm looking forward to actually, I'll give you guys updates during the week. You also have this area of liquidity over here that was formed by equal lows. So what would happen, another probability is that the market might go to the upside, tap into some liquidity, find an order block either here or here, and then go up again. So I hope this made sense. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there are lessons that are posted on the description box below, or you can either go to the playlist labeled Smart Money Concepts, and it will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is all I see on the dollar index. Let's move on to another pair. Now we are on USDJPY, and this is actually an update. Remember what we spoke on last time? Congested price action on a significant area. So we might get a breakout to the upside. In the area that I'm looking to take profit is this area of liquidity over here, right? This area of liquidity is actually attached to an area of supply. So we're good when it comes to that. If you zoom in though, you'll see that there was an imbalance created over here. And like we anticipated, the market tapped into some of the orders before continuing to the upside. We were actually able to catch some of those orders. And yeah, now the market is making its way all the way to the upside. So this is what I'm expected to see. I'm expected to see a push to the upside from this area over here. So I'm bullish on USDJPY. So this was where the imbalance was. The market tapped into some of the orders, and now we're going up, right? Let's go to a lower time frame. As you can see, we had this area of liquidity over here, where the market just tapped into some of the orders before continuing up. Now, we have this demand area, which was not really triggered, right? Let me do this. So what could happen is the market can go into this area of demand. The market can go into this area of demand, and then we can get a push to the upside. Now I'm only going to be looking at this. I'm gonna do a manual like entry. I'm not going to place a limit order here like I do with other pairs, right? Or in other scenarios. Why? Because the arrival on this demand area isn't how I expected. So normally when it comes to departures and arrivals on an area of supply or demand, I tend to look for areas where the market has a strong departure and the market has a strong arrival, or the market is retesting that area with a strong momentum. And that's not what we're seeing here. So the market might also make its way to the upside. Maybe there's a flag that's forming on the 4-hour. I don't know. So this is the first scenario. Second scenario, let's go on to the 4-hour. So yeah, now we're on the 4-hour, and then it's much more clear. We had this inefficiency over here, right? And the market tapped into some of the orders. Now, the reason the market had to tap into some of the orders here is because there's an area of liquidity over here, right? So the market got in liquidity from this area over here. This was a swing low. And then now we're just in this situation over here. Now, what will the market do? This is a potential area of demand. The reason why we're not looking for orders on this area is because it hasn't resulted in a break of structure. So we are canceling it out because of that. Another area of interest is this nested demand over here, because if you look, there's inefficiency. So that's one area. Another area is this area over here. One good thing about this area is that it's nested within a higher time frame area, which is the daily level. So what I think the market will do, I think the market will react off this 4-hour supply, and then tap into either these two areas before going up. It's very important that you note, guys, that we are speculators. These scenarios here are not like absolute. So of course, if I'm presented with different data over time, my thoughts on this might change, which is why even in the description box where I put the disclaimer, I said that this is for educational purposes, right? If you are going to act on this, it's your responsibility that you act on it, right? Using proper risk management. I'm definitely going to be monitoring this with my paid clients on the VIP paid group. If you're interested on that, my contact details are in the description box below. But yeah, this is the first scenario that I'm expecting based on what I saw on the higher time frame. So the market might come and tap into some of the orders here before going up. If it doesn't, I think the safe thing to do here will be to wait for a breakout from this area and then place a limit order on an order block, right? But yeah, these are my sentiments on USDJPY. Let me label these areas. This is a level on top of a level. Level on level. And this is a discounted level. Right. So yeah, let's go on to other pairs. Now we are on EURJPY. As you can see with EURJPY, the market failed to break above this area over here. So that's the first thing to note. And now we are on these swing lows over here. And this is our area of liquidity. With that being said, the market might take liquidity from this area and then move to the upside. Where are we going to get orders? From this demand over here. So this is the first thing that might happen, right? But then assume that that does not happen. What else could happen? If we violate these swing lows and break through this opposing demand, then I'm going to be looking for sells. That's scenario number 2. So this is an update on EURJPY. We got taken out because we moved our stop loss in profits. We got taken out, tried to look for orders at other like demand areas that didn't work out, and now the market is here. So let's go on to a lower time frame. So there's equal lows over here, and then there's a nested demand area over here. So this is why I was expecting the market to come into this level before going up. And if it doesn't, we already know what we're expecting. Right? Because even if you look here, there's not a lot of imbalances. So if we get a strong push from this demand area, it's definitely going to be able to break through this with ease. So yeah, other than that, okay, let me highlight this as an area of liquidity. And then yeah, let's wait and see what the market does during the course of the week. And yeah, let's move on to another pair. We're now on EURUSD, and we've been bagging pips on this pair. It's just a matter of us bagging more pips. If you were able to catch some of these opportunities with us, then kudos to you. But if you weren't able, you just joined us, let's make more money from this pair. One thing I like about this pair is how it obeys price action. So I'm not saying that when you anticipate a move, it goes exactly as you anticipated it, but there's no funny actions or price actions on this pair. So yeah, that's one thing I like about trading EURUSD. So without wasting any time, we had this change of sentiment over here, break of structure, taken liquidity, eventually broke that, right? And now we're approaching this area of liquidity over here. We already established that here there is efficiency. And what makes this not a good area of demand, you have a lot of price action here, right? And so this is where I'm actually taking profit again. Like, this is where I think the market will go eventually. Now we're on this area of demand here. And I think you can identify what's wrong with this demand area. Too much price action. So price is eventually going to break here and try to fill in the inefficiency here, right? Now, as the market is continuing to create new lower lows and lower highs, it's leaving footprints, right? We recently had this push to the downside, which left a great imbalance that the market eventually has to fill. So what I think will happen is the market will eventually go back into this area of supply and then continue going up. Continue going down. Right. If you want more detailed analysis, you can check out the other videos. I think I go into much detail there. And then we'll take our profit here. First take profit will be here. So yeah, this is what I'm expected to see during the course of the week. I'm expecting the market to go back here, test this, and then continue down. Might not happen this week, right? Let's grade this. Okay, it's here. It's here. It's actually this one. If the market breaks here, then it's curtains. Like, I'm not looking for. If it breaks this area, then I think we have to look for other supply levels, right? Tight basing candlestick hasn't really resulted in a break of structure, so it's not confirmed. But we have a strong departure. Now we're just looking for a strong arrival, a consolidation away. So this week we might get a candlestick that's still bearish, and we might get a rejection, maybe from this area of liquidity, right? So the market might go to this area of liquidity over here, give us a rejection. And then if it does, then over the next couple of weeks, we might get a push to this area, get some orders, and then continue down. Let's go to the lower time frame, right? I think here you can see it. So this is your area of liquidity. I'm expecting the market to tap into that. And then if it does, that we get a push to the upside, that's going to take out the orders here. Good nested area of demand is this one over here. Area of liquidity over here. All right. And so, yeah, let's just keep a lookout for this. And then I'll update you on the Telegram group. The link to our Telegram channel is in the description box below. Or conversely, you can type t.me/OrionCap. And that's our Telegram group. Let's move on to another pair. Okay, now we are on EURGBP. And with EURGBP, this demand is still in control. Okay, demand is still in control. It's just a matter of us finding orders on the low time frame. So this congested price action is not on this demand, it's just near this demand, which is why it was all right to assume, well, we weren't assuming that the market was taking liquidity here, of which it did. liquidity got taken out, right? And then the market went up, we're able to make some profit from that, boosted results to that here. And then that's where we are right now. Now, if you zoom in, you'll see that we have an area of opposing supply, right? So this is where price can make its first stop. It's confirmed, broken through structure, strong departure. Now you're waiting for an arrival, right? Now, if this supply does not hold, and I'm not planning to trade from it, if it does not hold, that's when we can get the scenario that we were all anticipating, which is the movement to the upside, right? Swing high. So yeah, let's go on to lower time frames. So yeah, as I was saying, we got in sell stop liquidity over here. We took some liquidity and the market's making its way all the way to the upside. And so if you're looking for extra confirmation, you can look for a breakout from this area over here. And then there's orders that have to be filled here. So that's just to add on to what we were seeing all along. So we might get this something like this. And then, yeah. So this is what I see on EURGBP. I was saying also, if you're not following us on Telegram, make sure that you do, because that's where I share most of the updates on signals. So yeah, let's move on to another pair. Now this is an update on EURGBP. EURCAD, sorry, EURCAD. We've broken through this demand area as I anticipated. And also we have this congested price action over here. Now, one of the things that I mentioned, which I don't talk about in my analysis, but is important to me, sort of like deciding whether or not I should be trading from a level as profit margin. Now, if you watch that video that I posted on finding the best supply and demand areas, I explain what that is. But right now, we are on an area of demand, but it's too close to an opposing area of supply. And so what I think will happen is that the market will eventually break through this demand area to come here. Right? And even if the demand holds, we're not going to be able to trade from it unless we break through this area, because you can clearly identify that we have opposing, or we have, what's this? We have voids over here. We have unfilled orders over here. So if we are to buy from this demand area, then we should wait for a breakout from this opposing area of liquidity and then go to the upside. But we're not going to be trading from this area, right? Because like I said, the market can break through this area. On the lower time frame, it looks like this. We got taken out of liquidity, and then we had a break of structure over here. Now the market went back to test the order block. So which is why, so you can't take, okay, let me finish here so that I can explain properly. You cannot take the sell here because of the demand and supply curve, right? Essentially, you have a daily, a higher time frame demand versus a lower time frame supply, right? Which makes the supply a low probability level. So this is why I'm saying for us to be able to take this trade over here, which is the buy. If you're looking for buys, then you should wait for a breakout of this area. Also wait for the market to take out some of the orders here, find an order block and move to the upside. Or wait for the market to break this area, and then you can trade from this level over here and use this as your take profit, right? Let's move on to our second last pair. Okay, now we are on GBPAUD. right? And we got taken out of this position with 300 and something pips. And yeah, you have this area of liquidity over here. We have this supply area over here. Right? We have this area of liquidity, which will be more clear on like the daily or the 4 hour. So we taken out some of the orders here, right? Now, to the left, if you look carefully, there isn't a lot of imbalances because price has taken out most of the resting supply that's there, right? And here we have the supply area over here. If you look at the supply area, it's not a very good supply area, but if you look at it, it's resulted in a break of structure. We have this departure over here, and we have this, what you call consolidation away, and now the market's making its way to retest it. Now, as you can see from this candlestick over here, the market might not make it all of its way up to go all the way to the upside, might not go all the way to the upside. But if it does, we're looking to re-enter into this trade and take profits here. Let's go to lower time frames. So it's much more clear here. And this is very confusing. I will not lie to you guys. You had this break of structure over here. You had this break of structure over here. And with this break of structure, you had a strong departure away from this area. And then you left a blueprint here in the form of an order block. Now, the order block hasn't been tested. And you had a shift of sentiment on this time frame. So you failed to create a new low, right? As you failed to create a new low, you got a strong push to the upside, which broke in previous structure, and you also created an order block. Now, the order block, if you grade it, is good so far, so good, because you have a strong departure, consolidation away, and now we're just waiting for a retracement or a retest back into it. Right. If you get this, then that's where I'm going to be taking profit, because essentially that's where my higher time frame level is at. Now, going back to what I was talking about, inefficiency and efficiency, look at how prices are filled here. And whenever you have a strong movement, look at how easy it is for price to just break through those areas, right? Now, if you look at this area over here, where I said we might get an order, I think we're only respecting it because it's on a higher time frame. But if you look here, it does not look any good. We only had a strong departure here. The market eventually had to fill in the orders here with this movement over here. So there is a possibility that even if the market comes here, like there isn't going to be a strong departure, which leads me to this conclusion over here that if the market comes here, we're going to wait for strong candlestick pattern. To signal that we should buy. But for now, this is what I'm expecting to see on GBP AUD. Let's move on to our final pair. On GBP AUD, on GBPAUD, this is what I'm seeing. Now we had the strong move. We were anticipating this movement and we were able to catch it. We're able to move stop losses back to break even. And now the market is reacting off of this opposing supply, right? And so one or two things can happen. Either the market can continue going down, breaking previous structure, and if it does, I'm gonna be selling, right? Until we get to this point over here. Right? Or if it gives us a double bottom, it might take out some liquidity over here and then go down. Then go up. As you can see right here, we created liquidity with this swing low over here. So the market can have incentive to take out some of the orders, which is the reason why I'm moving my stop loss. So the market might take out some of the orders here from this liquidity before going up. If you want this analysis on GBPJPY in much detail, then you can check out some of my other videos. I'll post a link to them in the description box below. But yeah, man, this has been a very long session. But I hope for the page that you were looking at for the week, you got my sort of like sentiments on them. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Might not drop market breakdown in a very long time. This could be the last week or next week could be the last week. That's because on December, I usually take breaks from the market. So for the entire month, even parts of January, I take a break. So yeah, if this is the last time for the year 2021 that I'm posting this breakdown, goodbye. If I see you guys next week, then okay. But then yeah, it's been a ride. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback, especially on Telegram, especially on YouTube. Like people have been DMing me like on my personal pages, telling me how they find this kind of content useful. And I'm just grateful to be able to be a vessel for you guys. Remember, and I said this last week, the purpose of these breakdowns isn't necessarily to give you guys signals, right? This is just like an added bonus. But the purpose of these breakdowns is to test whatever that I'm teaching on a live market in real time. So if you're able to learn as much as you can. I'm planning a lot of content for next year, like different content. I want my channel to be that channel where you can find everything. So one of the things that people said they want to see on Telegram, they said they want us to start looking at fundamental analysis. Now, I know a bit of that. I use it, but I don't trade the news per se, but I know fundamental analysis. I know how to analyze it. And it's also because I have a degree, believe it or not, in economics. So some of the things that we see on the news and what, I already know them because of my background in economics. So it will be very fun for me to share that with you because that's what I enjoy more than looking at the charts. I actually enjoy giving insight on economic events, economic data, and I think you will enjoy it as much as I will. But for now, guys, I don't want to speak for long. It's been fun, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. For now, peace.